Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. In this video, we're going to look at something really interesting. So this is the 1972, I'm calling it a short. It's a little cartoon representing an adaptation of Dr. Seuss's The Lorax. Now I'm covering the 2012 film, which is a full-length, very, very interesting thing. Check out the video for that. It's probably coming out the same day. I've already filmed it. It's weird. This was written by Dr. Seuss, both the book, obviously, and this kind of 25-minute little cartoon. It came out in 1972. It's obviously that type of animation. And he wrote actually all the songs. There's a bunch of songs in this. So and you can tell. I found this one with an IMDb page, but you can tell that Seuss would have had to have done this because it's written in his language. It's written in Seuss language, which, as you know, if you've read Dr. Seuss, is very specific with Seuss language. So it follows the book almost identically, except for it adds a whole bunch of music to it. So I want to check out my book review for this. It starts off with essentially this little boy walking into this, like, leaving his little town, which is completely desolated, to basically this completely desolated land that's gray and icky, and asking, like, whatever happened to the truffula trees? And it's like, ask the Onceler. He's the only one who knows. He can tell you why the Lorax left and who the Lorax was, essentially, and why on earth there's this stone thing that says unless. So then it goes into the full story of the Onceler and how he came to this beautiful green area with all these truffula trees and these bobaloos and the weird fish and can't remember the name of the bird, but of course it's in Seuss. And he cuts down he's like, look, I love these truffula trees. They're like silk. And of course there's all sorts of music, and then he builds his house, he cuts down a tree, and the Lorax pops up. It's like, I am Lorax, I speak for the trees. And basically the one sort of says, I don't care. I'm going to build this thing, or knit this weird thing that can be all sorts of things. It's like, yes, it can be absolutely anything. This thingamajig thing. And then he sells it, and Lorax is still pissed, and then it goes through the whole, he brings all his family, he builds a giant factory, and builds and builds and builds. There's a whole big song about how this thing just keeps getting bigger, and there's a town, and there's employees, and it becomes a giant corporation, and they're chopping down all these trees. And then you have this huge, he's become big corporate, and they're singing, and it's become mechanically done, and they're just chopping down all these trees. And the Lorax finally gets his attention again and forces his way in. It's like, basically you've chopped down so many of the trees that I have to send the Babaloo bears, I think is what they're called, whatever they're called, the bear-like creatures who used to live here and live on the fruits. I have to send them away. I don't know where they're going, but they can't stay here because there's no more food. And the Onceler does not care. And then more time goes on, and the company gets bigger, and eventually Lorax breaks back in and yells at him and says, like, you've smogged everything up, and I've had to send these birds because they can't sing anymore, and I don't know where they're going. It's like, and of course, again, Onceler doesn't care, and then the Lorax yells at him about poisoning all the ponds and poisoning all the water, having to send these hummingfish thing. And one thing when I was looking at the IMDb page, he mentions, like, one of the fish says is like, we've heard it's not much better in Lake Erie. Apparently, originally this was in the book until like 18 years after the book came out, and Seuss was informed that they cleaned up Lake Erie. So he took it out. But the line was originally in the book. So that's an interesting piece of information. So that's why it's in the film, is because it was originally in the book. because apparently Lake Erie was a mess. So the Lorax, meowing cat. Kendra, go away. Sorry, meowing cat. She runs in, but she's a nuisance. Moving on. So, and then of course you have this last scenes where they chopped after he tells them that the fish is gone and he doesn't care, and he has the stock market is growing and care about people and employing people and the economy and how we essentially don't care because we're a big business. And then they chop down the last truffula tree, and then everybody leaves. Like, there's no more truffula trees. Your entire assembly line have now completely stopped because there's nothing else to make these weird thingamajiggies out of it. And that's kind of near the end of the story, and then you kind of get back to the present where you have the Onceler who's living in some sort of tower and talking to this boy, and you only see his hands. Not the entire thing, you only see the Onceler's green hands. And he's like, and then basically after all his family left, there is nobody but me and the Lorax. My completely empty factory and the Lorax and all the smog. And the Lorax picks himself up basically picks himself up from behind and floats up through a break in the smog. And there was nothing left of him except for a pile of stones that said, unless. And the boy's about to walk off, and he's like, wait, I have something for you. And this. And basically draw, this is the last truffula seed. Basically, now he does repeat the line that's directly from the book. It's basically, it's like, what does unless mean? What is this word? It's a very interesting word, and it means that unless somebody like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. Now, that's directly the end of the book. And he drops, this is a truffula seed. You are now the holder of the last truffula seed. Plant it, give it fresh water and clean air, and build an entire forest, and then maybe the Lorax and his friends will come back. And that's the end of the film. Again, it's only about 25 minutes long. It's very cute animation. It goes really well along with the book. I don't know about the other film. Make sure to watch my review of that. It's weird. It's modern. It makes less sense. This makes closer sense. And again, it's true to the story because it was designed by Seuss himself. And it's very, very true to the book. And it's very simple. It's only 25, like I said, it's only 25 minutes long. That includes the credits. So, sorry, I have a toddler and I film at night, and cats. So it's very enjoyable. This is what I remember from my childhood because I was born in the 80s, so this thing was on television. It was I think one of the first animations of one of Seuss's book. He was very much involved. If you watch this, Ted Geisel is Dr. Seuss. It's Theodore Seuss Geisel. That's his full name. So that's how he's credited. He wrote all the songs. Obviously, they're all in Seuss and his different magic. It's the narrator, the voice of the narrator, not the voice. Onceler. The voice of the narrator is by Eddie Albert, who I remember from old television. Again, all this is old television. So the Lorax is voiced by Bob Holt, who was a well-known voice actor of the time. Let's see, the Onceler is played by the boy's voice is by Harlan Carr, who doesn't have a voice there. But the Onceler is also the narrator, so that's who it is. So again, it's really, really good. It's really, really, again, it's only 25 minutes long. It's very, very closely connected to the book. There's a whole bunch of music in there. So that's the main addition, is you have these songs. It very much shows the building of industry and how it grows up, and then how it slowly pretty much destroys things. So it's cute. It's short. It was probably entertaining. Again, if you're doing a homeschooling unit on the Lorax, this is probably more accurate, obviously, to the book than the 2012 thing, which, yes, is far more entertaining and much longer, but this is a little bit more educational because it's shorter, and it's very closely, again, with the book. The animation is very, very much identical to the book. So it's that old animation, and it fits very much with the illustrations of the book. It still has that same point. And it is still an important point to this day, is stop destroying nature. And yes, this is, I mentioned this in my book review, this is Dr. Seuss's favorite book that he's written. It's still very relevant today because we're still destroying things and chopping down trees and making big factories and destroying things. Only now we're really, really beginning to see the results of it. Back when Seuss wrote this, we might have had a chance of, not destroying the entire planet. Now we're just trying to negate the damage and prevent it from getting worse. But I love this. It's very cute. It's very short. It's very fun. Yes, it's old. Yes, it's very, very old. Again, this came out in 1972. That's even before I was born. But again, it will be entertaining. The kids might like the music. It's not as catchy. It's obviously very old. It will probably be more appealing to younger kids, to say this. The older kids, because it's not as loud. But it gets to the point. It's very connected to the book. I enjoy it. I will definitely show it to my children. It's very, very short. Again, it's only 25 minutes long, so it's not going to drive you crazy. There's a yawn because it's like 8:40 at night and I have a 2-year-old who doesn't necessarily sleep very well, and we've had a very long day. So that is it for this review. If you like what you see, please check out my book review, and then be sure to have a look at the modern rendition of this, which is interesting. It's interesting. Now, I found this, and I will link this on YouTube for free. So I will probably, I think you can buy it on Amazon, but if you can find it on YouTube for free, it's probably better. So if you like what you see, again, check out my book review, check out the modern film review, which I believe is coming out after this. I also do a lot of children's books. I do children's books, I do children's films. That's the cornerstone of my thing. We are a homeschooling family, which is the reason I bring it up. Non-religious homeschooling family. So that's a lot of what you see here. I do a little bit of homeschooling videos right now. I plan a lot more, but my child is 2 as of this filming, which is September 1st of 2021. So we're not fully getting into any homeschooling yet because she's 2. And I do plan to do that as things go on and my kid gets older. But I also do a few traveling videos. I have a couple up right as of this video. Hopefully we'll add more, but again, it's 2021 and it's September. COVID cases are kind of going up right now. So we're conquering back down again. So hopefully we'll do more travel videos. By the time this comes out, we'll have done a few more travel things. So again, that is it. My toddler is fussing. Like and subscribe. Thank you.